They say some people are born under a bad sign. I was born under a bad bridge. Well, not bad, just mixed up. And wrong. A bridge that couldn't decide whether it was male or female. I grew up in La Puente, California, a largely Hispanic suburb east of Los Angeles. Whoever named the town must have flunked first-grade Spanish, simply misheard what someone else said, or maybe didn't even speak a word, because a bridge is always, without fail, male. But we were named La Puente. Ours was female. Was it bisexual, transsexual, pansexual, gender fluid? And where was this bridge? There was no bridge that I knew of in La Puente, not even a river to cross. But that wasn't the only neighborhood misnomer causing me confusion as a child. A few blocks from my home was the City of Industry, the next town along from La Puente. Only, it didn't smell like oil and dust, but tomato ketchup and strawberry jam that wafted out of the Kearns factory abutting the train tracks at the end of East Temple Avenue. An invisible, fragrant cloud hung over the entire area, inducing an olfactory schizophrenia in the local population. On strawberry jam days, life was sweet without a care in the world. On tomato ketchup days, for some reason, people were crabbier. Perhaps it was made from a deadly nightshade. My sister Barbara worked down the road from Kearns, at the Mattel toy factory. Now there was my kind of industry. In my imagination, she worked on the production line in a Willy Wonka wonderland, alongside green-haired troll dolls, tinkering away, making toys galore. In reality, the Mattel factory was your run-of-the-mill urban sweatshop. "I hate my job," was a common refrain from my big sis when she got home from work, exhausted by the mundane daily drudgery. I happily ignored her reality check for my fantasy, because she would often bring home discarded seconds and broken or misshapen Hot Wheels cars, so much the rage for little boys at the time. They were going to throw these in the garbage, she'd tell me. I worked too hard to see them trashed. I figured you might be able to play with them anyway. Given that most of the muscle cars I was gifted usually had no more than 3 wheels and were so banged up they had doors or interiors missing, it was difficult to play with them in the way Mattel intended. I created my own entertainment. Those broken-up vehicles just happened to be perfect for playing demolition derby. I would smash them together and send them careening over the end of a table to some terrible demise. I think I was probably inspired by my love for the commercials I used to see on TV for the nearby Irwindale Speedway, where supercharged, customized hot rods raced along the strip every weekend. The commercials were a riot of noise and a real turn-on, motors revving, cars colliding, and the announcer screaming his lungs out on top of it all. Barb also used to bring me tons of warped pieces of plastic tracks with hairpin twists and turns, which afforded me hours of fun creating endless roads to nowhere, my favorite destination. La Puente's road to nowhere arched north to our freeway overpass, the closest thing we had to a genderless bridge, and landed right in the middle of Helltown. At least that's what my mother told me they used to call Baldwin Park in the 50s, because it was the place you went to partake in any sinful activity involving drugs, prostitutes, and guns. Thanks for the tip, Mom. If you were lucky enough to crawl out of Helltown on your hands and knees and back to the overpass, a meditative respite awaited you. Just 2 blocks from our family abode was a solemn-looking red brick building with a perfectly manicured lawn outside. You never saw anybody going in or out of its front doors. This was the borough's corporation building. A nightmare-inducing Twilight Zone episode to some, the borough's corporation was a Zen garden to me, radiating coldness and endless mystery while striking fear into the population at large, the public's minds focused on a fear of the unknown. If visitors from another planet were already here on Earth, I imagine they probably worked in that building. It was only in my adulthood I would put two and two together and realize the company was founded by the grandfather of my favorite author, William S. Burroughs.